let my two hands represent two hemispheres of the brain in case of aquatic mammals. Then, when this hemisphere is asleep, this hemisphere will still remain awake and control the body movement that is required for swimming. Imagine yourself in a lecture hall. Now, can you imagine yourself falling asleep in between the lectures? Well, if you are like me, then the answer is yes. In fact, I fall sleepy most of the time during the lectures, and in order to not actually fall asleep, I engage myself in something like writing something on the paper so that I don't get scolded by the professor for sleeping in the class. But what if you could sleep with only one half of the brain while the other half of the brain is still awake? What if a part of our brain is still functioning and the eye that is still open when you are sleeping and the professor never know that we are asleep? Wouldn't that be great? Why do we even need to sleep in the first place? Do the other species sleep as well? Do the birds sleep? Do the dolphins sleep inside water? And did the dinosaurs sleep? Sleep is one of the basic drives in life. It is universal and it is common among all the species that is known till date. Be that dolphin, be that bird, be that dinosaurs, every species that is known till date sleeps. Even the most simplest form of living organisms that has its lifespan for more than 24 hours shows active and passive phase of life that is very much similar to the day and night of our context or our planet. And this pattern is what we believe to be the precursor of what we now call the circadian rhythm, the rhythm that controls our sleep and waking pattern. When we stay awake for a long time, adenosine keeps building up in the body, and this creates a sleep pressure. And the different vital functions in the metabolism going on inside the body during sleep, this further creates the byproducts that needs to be cleared up from the body. And sleep is the state that we all have to enter in order to clear all those metabolites from the body. In fact, sleep was the first state of life on the planet. And from sleep, the wakefulness emerged. Every species that you know till today, without any exception, sleeps. But there is difference in the way we and them experience sleep. The difference can be in the amount of time that we spend sleeping, or the quality of sleep, and the different phases of the sleep. Although every species sleep, not every species dream. We humans just don't sleep. We sleep in phases. And that phases is described into two phases based on the movements of our eyeballs inside the eyelids. And they are classified as non-rapid eye movement sleep, in which the eyeballs are not moving, and the rapid eye movement sleep, or the REM sleep, in which the eyeballs inside our eyelid are moving during the sleep as well. And if you look at the brain wave pattern during the REM sleep, then our eyeballs are moving and the sleep pattern is much more like the brain wave that we see in the awake brain. So it is also called the paradoxical sleep, in which the brain wave is like or similar to that of a awake person, but the body is sleeping. REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, is intimately associated with the experience of dream. And so for this reason it is also called dream sleep. And during REM sleep, all the voluntary muscles of our body are completely paralyzed. Non-rapid eye movement sleep, or the non-REM sleep, is divided into 4 sub-stages, and as the sub-stages increases, 1, 2, 3, 4, as the sub-stages increases, the difficulty to wake a person from sleep also increases. It is harder to wake a person in the 4th stage of non-REM sleep than to wake a person from the 1st stage of non-REM sleep. And when we are awake, from awake we reach to the state of rapid eye movement sleep, and then the non-REM sleep stage 1, 2, 3, 4. And there is a continuous war going on between the REM sleep and non-REM sleep. And at the end of 90 minutes, this battle continues for 90 minutes, and at the end of 90 minutes, one phase of the sleep, either REM or the non-REM sleep, wins, and the battle begins again. So we sleep through the cycle. We sleep for one cycle consists of 90 minutes, and in that battle of 90 minutes, one phase of the sleep wins. In the early stages of the sleep, the winner is non-REM sleep. But in the later stages, in the fourth, fifth cycle, the winner is the REM sleep. The key function of non-REM sleep, which predominates in the early stages of the sleep, is to remove the unnecessary bits of information from the brain and then to keep the necessary informations. And during the REM sleep or the dream sleep, these informations or the memory are interconnected or strengthened. But this REM sleep is unique to birds and mammals, insects, reptiles, amphibians. They do not show REM sleep. They only show non-REM sleep. One reason may be because during the REM sleep, all the voluntary muscles of our body are completely paralyzed. And human beings are the only species that does not sleep on the tree branches or the nest. We sleep on the ground. Humans were the only species, in fact, Homo erectus were the first ancestors of human who walked on two foot, and they were the first species to actually sleep on the ground. And the benefit of sleeping on the ground from sleeping on the tree is that when you are sleeping on the tree, there is a risk of falling down. So sleep is interrupted quite a lot, and you need to sleep for long hours. But when sleeping on the ground, the risk of falling down, especially during the REM sleep, when your voluntary muscles are paralyzed, is eliminated. So you get a good quality sleep, and so the duration of the sleep is decreased in humans compared to other primates. But the duration of REM sleep is comparatively higher in humans. That is almost 25% of the sleep is occupied by the REM sleep. While in other species that shows the REM sleep, the amount of REM sleep is only 9%. So that is the benefit. And what this REM sleep does is it ignites creativity and it helps to build emotional connection. It helps us to recognize the people we know and creates a deep emotional connection. It also helps to link past and present information, past and present memory to the newly learned informations and make interconnections between them. The long-term memory, the memory are stored for the long time during the non-REM sleep, but the connection between them are made during the REM sleep. And after experiencing the REM sleep, we can come up with a new idea. And all the mammals have the REM sleep, but aquatic mammals like dolphins, whales, they do not show the REM sleep. And it makes sense because during the REM sleep, your entire voluntary muscles is completely paralyzed. So if they are paralyzed, then they can't swim inside the water. They need to swim inside the water continuously for them to remain alive. They sleep, but the way they sleep is through the non-REM sleep. And they have got a peculiar property that only one half of the brain remains asleep and the other half remains awake all the time. I mean, let my two hands represent two hemispheres of the brain in case of aquatic mammals. Then, when this hemisphere is asleep, this hemisphere will still remain awake and control the body movement that is required for swimming. And when this hemisphere of the brain completes its sleep, let's say this is the left hemisphere, when the left hemisphere completes its duration of sleep, this will remain awake and this hemisphere will not sleep. So when awake, both of these hemispheres work in unison. But during sleep, only one hemisphere sleep and the other hemisphere remain awake. And this is not peculiar to aquatic mammals. This can be seen in birds as well. Even birds, when they are asleep, they sleep with only one hemisphere of the brain, while the other hemisphere, let's say these are two hemispheres, if this hemisphere is asleep, then the right hemisphere, if the left hemisphere is asleep, the right hemisphere will still be awake, and the parts controlled by the right hemisphere will remain awake. What I mean to say is that if the right hemisphere is awake, the left eye will be open because the right hemisphere of the brain controls the left side of the body. So their left eye will be open during the time when the right hemisphere is awake. And when this part sleep, this part will remain awake, and now the right eye of the body will remain awake. And this is particularly important because they can keep an eye on the potential dangers or threatened environment all the time. So you see that it's quite complicated in case of aquatic mammals. The whole concept about sleep, one hemisphere remaining awake, other hemisphere remaining asleep. Mother Nature could have made it very easy by not letting them sleep at all if they have to live inside the water. But no, the Mother Nature did not do that because sleep is so essential that there is no any alternative. There is no negotiation possible for sleep. Sleep is so essential that even the organisms living inside the water are a very unicellular organism. Every organism that is known till date has to undergo this state of sleep for them to revitalize themselves. So, for those of you who say, if you have dream, stay awake. I want to say, if you have dream, sleep well. And during your awake hours, be more productive. Sleep well, be more productive. Thank you.